This is the 28th Annual DICE Awards. And now welcome your hosts, Stella Chung and Greg Miller.
DICE Awards, that magical time of year when the gaming industry's most self-important, out-of-touch elites gather in a room to stroke each other's egos, sniff their own farts, and pretend that they're still in any way relevant. A night so special, they just had to take a completely unscripted and totally organic jab at Elon Musk and President Trump. Because nothing screams gaming excellence like reminding everyone how much you despise people who get shit done. Yes, gaming elite.
You know, Greg, I think we're the last people left with jobs in games media.
That is correct. It is very bleak out there, but how are you doing with that?
Please, tell us how brave and rebellious you are while standing in a room full of corporate stooges who haven't had an original thought since they added microtransactions to Call of Duty. And the best part, half these people honestly probably couldn't code their way out of a wet paper bag. Hell, they couldn't cut their way out of a wet paper bag with a sharp knife and a fucking map. So tell me again how important you are while your games ship in, well, glorious 15 frames a second with bugs so bad they make Cyberpunk 2077's launch look, well, kind of polished. But you know what? It's fine. I'm sure that super brave political commentary is really resonating with the audience. Oh, wait. No. Turns out people prefer now to get their gaming news from actual gamers rather than corporate mouthpieces who couldn't finish Dark Souls if they added an easy mode. Who could have possibly predicted that gamers might want to hear from people who actually play games instead of some blue-haired sociology major telling them that their favorite franchise is problematic? Journalists, and I use that word very lightly in this case, these days they're like that one dude at a party who insists on explaining the deep feminist themes of Doom Eternal while everyone else just wants to rip demons apart. But hey, at least we can always count on one thing. Whenever one of these gaming sites shuts down, they'll blame it on toxic gamers rather than the fact that their writing is about as engaging as a Ubisoft side quest. And speaking of massive industry failures, let's talk about Greg Miller. Now, I don't know about you, but I find it hilarious that the guy works for a place called Kinda Funny when he's never actually been funny. No, I mean it. Seriously, his jokes land harder than Bethesda's game physics engine. The guy is really about as humorous as a box of rocks. You know, Greg, dude, if you have to keep reminding people that you're funny, you're probably not funny. That's like a restaurant putting totally not poison on their sign. It's just a little suspicious. Yeah, let's not forget, of course, Greg hates Elon Musk. Thinks Musk is the worst thing to happen to social media, and yet he happily pays $1,000 a month for a gold check mark on X. $1,000 a month plus to use a platform owned by the guy he supposedly despises. Greg, dude, buddy old pal I've never met, if you hate Musk that much, why are you giving one of his companies money? I mean, aside from buying the Tesla you have. That's like dreaming about how much you hate Starbucks while sipping on the fifth pumpkin spice latte of the day. You know, at this point, the only way Greg could be a bigger hypocrite is if he took a huge stand against OnlyFans while secretly running an alt account called Kinda Spicy.
Yes, if you are in fact a normal person, these are people who make video games. And no, none of us can get your nephew free V-Bucks.
And for the normal gamers watching right now, yes, these morons are the same people who think every game has to be a platform for activism because, God forbid, you just want to have fun without getting a lecture. Instead of writing compelling characters, they just shove in some self-insert activist who delivers dialogue so cringe-inducing it makes Mass Effect Andromeda's facial animations look mildly competent. And you know what? You just may be paying for it. That's right. Your tax dollars could be funding these glorified X or Blue Sky activists as they shove their totally organic, completely natural diversity into every game, whether it makes sense or not. Because nothing screams immersive world building like stopping the plot dead so a character can tell you their pronouns.
There are some very powerful executives in the game industry here tonight.
And to all of you, let me be the first to say, stop firing people.
I know, we would love to keep it positive here, but you're making it really hard.
Like nightmare difficulty hard. Like how much do these bonuses need to be that you keep laying these people off? Speaking of Greg Way, Bungie laid off hundreds of people last year, while the CEO of the company was apparently spending millions of dollars on old cars. I'll say this, it's rare to see an executive literally driving a company into the ground.
Now, maybe it's just me, but an event full of millionaire CEOs held in some fancy hotel ballroom while thousands of their employees are getting fired en masse feels a little, well, off. Oh, no. Sorry. That's not really the problem. The real issue is gamers being too toxic. Because obviously, the reason game devs are struggling isn't that they've been making ideological-driven dumpster fires that nobody wants to buy. No, it's all because of those mean old gamers who keep demanding things like working games, decent stories, and protagonists who aren't walking identity checklists. And while we're here, let's talk about those mass layoffs in the industry this last year. Now, if you asked those totally self-aware geniuses, they'll tell you that the reason thousands of developers were losing their job is the evils of capitalism. Well, they're partly right. Because, yeah, it totally has nothing to do with the fact that your $70 live service abomination is probably going to flop nearly as hard as Concord. But hey, maybe, just maybe, if game studios focus on making good games instead of chasing Twitter clout or X likes or whatever, they wouldn't have to fire so many people. You know, just a thought.
There was a lot of annoying culture war stuff around games in 2024.
Yeah, a lot of the talk revolved around women characters in games not being attractive anymore.
Yeah, and when I think about it, I have a very nuanced opinion on it, which is basically, who fucking cares? Have these people seen a woman up close before? What the fuck are we talking about, everybody?
And then we have the best moment of the night, a dude standing there giving a speech about sexism, while the woman next to him is showing more cleavage than a plumber's ass crack. Now, don't get me wrong, I have like completely zero problems with the little eye candy. But if you're going to grandstand about the evils of sexual objectification, maybe don't do it while standing next to someone who looks like she was hired for a softcore cinematic special event. This is the peak of self-unaware clownery.
Does. Yeah, and I'm not trying to flatter everyone here, but if I know one thing about this audience, is that none of you had to pay someone to play Diablo for you.
It's hard to level up your own characters when you're dismantling democracy.
I feel like we're in good company here, but just in case for the people online, if you get mad at that joke, it's Greg Miller. G-R-E-G.
M-I-L-L-E-R. Fuck Elon Musk and fuck Donald Trump.
And then, of course, we have Greg Miller's heroic moment. Wow, Greg, brave, so stunning and brave, a true warrior for the oppressed. I mean, parroting the exact same opinions as every other person in that room. Now that's real and true rebellion. What's next, Greg? Are you gonna take a bold stance on kicking puppies? Dude's about as rebellious as a Starbucks seasonal drink. Do you think industry events like DICE are completely out of touch? Is Greg Miller the poster child for hypocrisy and the bubble of the elite in the gaming industry? Or am I just being too hard, poor, misunderstood millionaire? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next catastrophe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.